morning. It's Thursday morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world, those hostilities in the Middle East. Well, have they settled down again? We'll talk a little bit about that here as we look at the Market Watch. Of course, we do the Market Watch. Stocks we're paying attention to, local and national stories that you need to know as well. And hope you're staying cool out there if you're here in Arizona or surrounding areas where we are. And hopefully you've cooled down there in the east and mid east, because middle part of the country, because woo, that heat has hit us over here these last couple days and continuing to tonight. Yeah, extreme heat warning continuing. They've extended it into Friday night here in the Phoenix area. So we're dealing with that. Typical July weather, of course, here. And with all that being said, let's try to distract you a little bit with that Market Watch. And now President Trump came out this morning and said that Iran called to make a deal after U.S. strikes that happened last couple days. He did say it's unclear if the war is back on or not. Of course, Iran attacked some oil ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz over the weekend. The United States responded to it and everything, and oil prices did ease today a little bit. They spiked yesterday after those fresh U.S. strikes against Iran that happened last couple days out there, but the oil spiked yesterday, easing a little bit today, and that means, well, there you go. Your market is up today. Just not a ton, but the Dow Jones is up 135 points right now to 52,412. S&P 500 is up to 48 points to 7514. And it's interesting enough that Dow Jones hit that high of 53,000 earlier in the week, coming back down below that 53,000 level. NASDAQ, well, it's up 400 points today as well to 29,909 for the NASDAQ this morning. I apologize. NASDAQ's up 179 points to the 26,050 for the NASDAQ there. Thank goodness I wasn't on camera for that sneeze. It's always embarrassing. You never sneeze pretty. Hey, the Russell 2K, that small cap index, up 35 points right now to 2986 for the Russell 2K today. So everything's up based off of all of that news out there. Well, even Bitcoin's up a little bit today, right? 63,069 is what that's trading at. It's just found itself a level here in the low 60,000 over the last couple weeks. For Bitcoin, we'll see where it continues to go. SpaceX is definitely hurting the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets as people have moved into other areas to put their money besides cryptocurrencies. And interesting enough, SpaceX has boomed another industry we'll talk about here in a story coming up in just a few minutes. We're just now getting the June home sales. We'll give you that update. That is posting right now. But first, we got to look at stocks we're paying attention to. First one, AstraZeneca is the first one we're looking at. Biopharmaceutical company, down 7.71%. Well, got some bad news yesterday. The heart disease drug that it was manufacturing, called Wainua, it failed to meet its target in a late stage clinical trial. So this drug failed. Anytime a drug fails with all the money and everything they put into it, late stage as well. So it's been through a lot of processes. Well, the stock's down 7.61% based off of that news today. And next up, we'll look at PepsiCo out there. Obviously drinks. They also Frito-Lay as part of their snack division. Mixed results for its second quarter. They did adjusted earnings of $2.20 per share. Just barely missed the expectation of $2.21 a share. Revenue was $24.18 billion. Well, that did beat the estimated revenue dollar amount of $23.95 billion as well. So PepsiCo down 4.18% based off of their mixed resulting. And then we'll look at Stellantis. Stellantis is coming out with a new car here in the United States. We'll tell you about here. It's our last story here of this segment. But Stellantis down 1.30%. It is a stock we're paying attention to. JP Morgan downgraded Stellantis to neutral before they had them rated at overweight. And it's pretty simple why they did it. And it is kind of an alarming thing that people are looking at on Stellantis as they are doing their turnaround. Well, JP Morgan analysts came out and said Stellantis needs 14 months of work in order to just start reaping the benefits of its turnaround effect. So you're a year out, according to JP Morgan, on the turnaround benefits. Well, that news today, Stellantis is down 1.20% here on this Thursday. Later on, when we come back, we're going to talk about Salesforce, a company called Cabrera Systems out there. They're an AI infrastructure systems, or excuse me, company out there. And then we're going to talk about Costco. Warehouse or wholesale club, I guess is what it officially is called there. But the warehouse there of Costco, we'll look at their stocks as well coming up later in the program. But first, just breaking right now, throw this in there. June home sales, well, they were not good. Yeah, prices did reach an all-time high in June as well. Now, this is just coming across the computer right now. I'll give you the highlights as I see them here. Sales of previously owned homes in June, well, they dropped 2.4% from May, from the May number, and dropped down to 4.09 million units as well for June. We get this from the National Association of Realtors. Housing analysts were actually predicting a slight gain month over month. So, and a negative number here of 2.4% instead of the slight gain. June sales were 2.8% higher, though, than the same month just a year ago. So that's why these numbers get fascinating. They are better than last year, but June was lower than May. We keep running into the same type of things. Obviously, it compares to interest rates, etc. But so that number I just gave you is all about closed sales on the markets. So these contracts are usually signed in late April, beginning of May if they closed in June. The average rate for the mortgages then for the 30-year fix, well, it was moving higher at that time and then moved sharp, of course, at the end of February, beginning of May with the war beginning as well. Inventory at the end of June was 1.56 million units. It's actually down about 0.6% from May, but it was 1.3% higher from June of last year, 2025. So we're better than last year, or I guess we're less than last year. Excuse me. We're better than last year, but worse than May for the month of June as well. I know can I confuse anybody anymore on that as well? At the current sales pace, that's basically a 4.6 month supply here as well. So obviously a balanced market is 6 months supply either way. So prices, though, is the big story. We hit the record. The median price of existing homes sold in June, $440,600. That's an increase of 1.8% from 2025 level in the same time. And like I said, hits the highest record on level or highest level of record in that mark as well. Now, why this number is important for June, as it's breaking right now here on McCollum on Business. June is traditionally the strongest month for both sales and prices as well. Everybody's moving before the school year, right? All the kids are out of school. Everybody's moving around, and so that's why June's number do pay a little bit more attention to in terms of how it comes out. Sales are strongest on the higher end side of the market. Sales of home price below 100,000 were down 1.7% from 2025. Houses between 100 and 250,000, they were up for less than 1%. But if you're one of those people, well, here in Phoenix, you can just buy a regular house for this price. But 750 to $1 million, those sales were up about 14% over 2025 levels as well. $1 million or more, 18% increase nationwide for home sales. So there you go, folks. Quarter of sales were all cash. That was down 29% from 2025. First-time buyers, well, they're made up 33% of these sales in June, up from 30% just a year ago as well. So first-time buyers seem to be getting into that mode, but the housing reporting just breaking right now here on McCollum on Business. So getting you that information here today as well. And the number of Americans filing claims for unemployment benefits, well, it fell last week. which basically says the labor market remains stable, even though there is a slowdown in job growth in June that we got from the non farm payroll reports out there. Initial claims for state unemployment benefits, well, it went 2,000, it dropped 2,000, to 215,000 for the week ending July 4th. We get all this from the Labor Department, of course. Economists polled by Reuters, well, they forecasted 218,000 claims for that week. Claims have dropped after rising at the end of May and the beginning of June. Well, partly because the increase was related to difficulties, the noise of difficulties adjusting to data because of the end of the school year. Yeah, the reason why? Some states allow non-teaching staff to apply for unemployment benefits during the summer months when there's obviously no school. And that could throw off the unemployment model there used by the government as well with that data. So some question marks, but numbers are still there where they were expected to be. Job growth obviously started to slow sharply in June at the beginning, especially. We saw that with the non farm payrolls count for April and May was revised lower. Economists said there had been no material shift in the labor market. So they still say we're involved in this slow hire, slow fire type of economy here in the United States is continuing out there as well. An interesting thing here you never think about, right? The IPO of SpaceX is the latest example of it. Came across this story and kind of just what stems from that, right? Janitors, people that worked at SpaceX as janitors or, the lower end tier has nothing to do with the rocket side of it, just keeps the operation going. They've got stock and, became millionaires with the IPO as well. Well, when that became SpaceX went to its IPO, it raised that record amount, $85.7 billion for the company. It generated unprecedented employee and founder wealth, as we know. Elon Musk became a trillionaire. So what happened, and this is going to happen again when companies like Anthropic and OpenAI do their IPOs later on this year, probably in a few months. So that creates wealth, not just for the employees, but venture capitalists, board directors, early employees, of course, of SpaceX. And these companies, when they do the IPOs, the bankers, that are in charge of the IPOs, well, that's all fresh wealth for them, you know, by getting into this SpaceX stock. So what's it doing? Yeah. Luxury travel companies are increasingly targeting and benefiting from tech entrepreneurs who have newfound wealth. Yes, this is interesting a development here. Private aviation usually starts with a membership or shared ownership program before progressing to aircraft ownership. Data from aviation intelligence firm JetNet, well, it shows that flights through shared ownership programs rose 11.8% globally in the first 5 months of 2026, compared with the same time there in 2025, of course. Flights operated by private jet owners climbed 13.4%. So there's broad demand in private jets. Mainly, a lot of it's because of frustrations with commercial travel as well. In North America, which is the private jets industry's largest market, this increase suggests both established owners taking to the skies, but more importantly, more often, newly wealthy buyers making the leap into aircraft ownership. Historically, major wealth creation events, things like stock market booms, the IPOs like SpaceX, mergers of companies, for instance, well, they've translated into higher demand for private aviation. Business jet deliveries rose 24% during that dot com boom back in the early 2000s out there. So these IPOs bring other industries and prop them up out there as people get this newfound millionaire status by working at SpaceX and having stock in it. You're going to see the same thing for Anthropic and these AI boom stocks as well. Just I found that an interesting story out there of some industries that benefit from these big tech models of big movements here on the stock market as well out there. Yeah. Hey, here's an interesting story. It's one you should be aware of out there. Meta claims you can turn this off. I've seen a couple people say they don't have that option in Instagram, but yesterday Meta came out and they launched its inaugural AI image model from Meta Superintelligence Labs, which is their lab that does the AI stuff. And it's all to compete with OpenAI's GPT Images 2.0 and Google's Nano Banana 2. Yeah, in that AI image generation race. Now, companies have gotten themselves in trouble this with deep fakes and things. Now, this new model from Meta is called Muse Image. It rolled out with deep integrations woven into the Instagram app, which basically means all part of Instagram. So, as part of this update, public Instagram profiles are now automatically opted into being full fodder and being made available your pictures for generative AI remixes. What that means is someone just has to tag your account's profile in a prompt. Now, it has to be public, and then they can use Meta AI to generate an image using your likeness. Yeah, you don't even have to know about it. Meta positions this feature as a cheeky way to personalize generations with images of real people. Here's what they said, quote, whether you want to design a custom event invitation, mock up a collaborative creative concept, or generate a personalized graphic, tagging a username lets Meta AI use public photos to build a visual that's ready to post. That's what Meta's announcement kind of blog said about this tool. The Instagram updates are rolling out here in the United States first as well. Now, if you want to avoid these AI generations of your Instagram posts, because people are going to use this for bad, folks, right? Um, you can switch your account to private, but if you don't want to do that, you'll have to dig into the app settings and find all this. I've read from a couple entities out there. I know Wired was one, and there was a couple other tech sites that said they don't have the option to turn it off on their Instagram as of yesterday. So if you want to opt out of it, not go private, well, open the Instagram app, tap your profile, then tap the three lines at the top right corner of the screen, and you want to scroll down to the sharing and reuse tab. That's where you should see a section labeled Allow People to Use Your Content on Instagram and with AI features on Meta. Yeah, there's a toggle there for posts and one for Reels as well. If you have kids that use Instagram, I would probably be logging into their account and doing that for them because you know how kids can be. hmm Instagram's Health Center site includes more details of how this feature will impact users. And I bet you it talks about positive ways it helps you, not the negative out there. Yeah, they say that, quote, people may be able to create content with your Instagram content using AI features at Meta. As That's how they said. That's how they phrase it. If you leave your account public and on the default settings as well, then somebody can do that for you. Now, you know, these, the ways to solve it, I guess we should say, is that side. But you don't know. They won't tell you that somebody's using your images for however they're using it. Yeah. Existing AI images made with your content, well, they won't be deleted, existing ones from other software and stuff as well. And if they make it with it, you have no control over their making of your pictures as well. So Instagram users may be remixing your images without your knowledge. Meta said, quote, you will not be notified about content created using AI features at Meta. Good luck with this, folks. All right, Let's see how quickly I envision a lawsuit or a challenge of this on privacy and safety reasons coming up from Meta. We'll see. Of the numerous aspects of this rollout that make people uncomfortable, but not getting the notification when someone does this, that seems like a huge violation. At a minimum, you should be notified if somebody's using your pictures for something, and you should see it, right, to make sure it's on the up and up. If it's just a flyer or they did something cute for you, that's one thing. The devious side that you won't know about is kind of the more red flag there. And I don't get these software companies and what they're doing with this stuff. I'm not going to lie to you out there. It baffles me on what these companies are doing to allow this stuff to happen, and we'll have to see. And like I said, you have teens probably want to get ahead of this a little bit, so other teens can't take advantage of that as well. And we looked at the Stellantis stock earlier today, and I told you got a story coming up on a new car that's coming out here in America. I don't think it's going to sell well. I don't. I'll give you a stat here coming up on it. But Stellantis came out yesterday, and they said it's open ordering for its small Fiat Topolino electric vehicle. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. And they're selling this in the U.S. It's a car made for European markets, Japan, for instance. It starts at $13,995. Yeah, cheap car. While the Topolino resembles a small car, such as the Fiat 500, kind of looks like a old smart car. Remember those? And it's an EV, by the way. But they say it's a quadricycle. It functions more like a golf cart. Stellantis said the Topolino is capable of going 19 miles per hour, an electric range of up to 46 miles. A low-speed vehicle conversion kit can boost the top speed to 25 miles per hour to make it street legal on roads with speed limits of 35 miles per hour or less. You can drive it around your neighborhood if you want to. A Stellantis spokeswoman said there will be no charge for the conversion kit, but you have to give a mandatory destination fee. That'll add $990 to the base price. They're not going to charge you for it, but they're going to charge you a $990 fee for it. Semantics. So your customer price, if you want that, will be $14,985. The Topolino, which translates to Little Mouse in Italian, well, it's overproduced over in Morocco. The company said it will be available in limited quantities this year as a hardtop model with doors, or as a Dolce Vita soft-top convertible model with a rope instead of doors. Small cars such as Fiats, folks, have historically not sold well in the United States. Yeah, and it's full. Nobody wants these small cars. In its first full year in the U.S. in 2012, Fiat sold 43,772 vehicles here in the U.S. Yeah, they've sold 1,300 Fiat vehicles last year in the U.S. This thing's not going to sell well. It's going to be a disaster. You're going to buy a golf cart, right? If you're going to buy something to that effect. I don't know. Maybe somebody will buy it. So there you go, folks. Cheap car for you to get around the neighborhood. Go check your mail. Whatever you want to do with it. Hey, when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we keep this show rolling. Taco Bell's doing something, and basically, you've been dealing with it for a while. Taco Bell's expanding something. We have that story coming up for you. We got a lot of energy stories here for Arizona, for the local stories coming your way. So come back and join us, will you? McCollum on Business, Thursday edition. Back here at McCollum on Business Thursday edition, our last show of the week here. We're taking Fridays off here for a couple more weeks and everything. So we'll be back on Monday here, 7 a.m., of course, get you updated on what's happening around the business world. after today, of course. And we're in the dog days of summer. Markets don't trade as much with people going on vacation and things. So we'll be back on Monday, but we do have all of our programming on demand, right? And we're going right into the main event here on Thursday. No Uncle Lou today. Uncle Lou actually coming in tomorrow to do just an hour segment, a normal hour segment with Uncle Lou. Tomorrow, of course, the Conor McGregor fights this weekend. So we will have a main event, about an hour show tomorrow coming your way. 9 o'clock, as usual, is when that'll come up tomorrow. But this show will be back on Monday at 7 a.m. Of course, everything's on demand if you can't catch us live on YouTube at TME Media AZ. If you can't catch us live, catch us on demand, catch us on Rumble as well, where The Real Matrix is over on Rumble, along with all of our other show programming, The Pit Stop, the main event, the McCollum on Business, all on Rumble as well. New episode coming up this week on education for The Real Matrix, coming out on Friday at noon on Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media is where you can find that. You click on the channel button right above the videos that pop up when you go to that page. You can go to the actual channel of the show you'd like to watch there for you Rumble users and you real Matrix followers out there. Of course, you can catch The Real Matrix on your favorite podcast systems, Apple, Google, iHeart, Spotify, Podchaser. Well, it's there as well. Just search The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot. It pops right up for you. And fantastic. The numbers on the podcast version of that show are great. All the shows except for this one do have their own podcasts. The Pit Stop is up this week as well. Pit Stop with Steven is all you got to search for on the podcast systems. The Pit Stop Talk on X is where you can find the communication and join us there for the conversations for the racing coming up this weekend. Of course, catch that on demand on YouTube, TME Media AZ, as well as on Rumble. And as soon as we're done here, well, we get this posted on demand on YouTube and on Rumble as well. We roll into the main event live from 8 to 10. As soon as we're done there, well, we get that posted as well onto the on-demand sites. Please catch that. Catch the podcast system of the main event if you'd rather listen to it while you're driving around. Share us with your friends. Appreciate it very much as we appreciate the audience and your guys is coming and joining us along the line as well. And with all that being said, folks, let's get into the Market Watch. Basically, little change here on the market. Traders are kind of just waiting to see on the U.S.-Iran tensions. If you missed it earlier, I told you. Trump says Iran called to make a deal after the U.S. strikes, the retaliation to them attacking some oil ships over the weekend. He did say, though, it's unclear if the war is back on or if the ceasefire is still there. Because of that news, oil prices have fallen today after spiking yesterday with the hostilities yesterday as well. Tanker traffic through the Hormuz has slowed down after those Iranian attacks as well that happened over the weekend. So that's affecting the market. June home sales were disappointing. New sales record high. That broke right as we started the show. We told you about that earlier. Unemployment rate we talked about earlier. OpenAI's newest AI model is 54% more token efficient as agentic coding. Yeah, their CEO told Steve Altman told CNBC earlier. I don't know what that means. Sounds impressive, I guess. He would be touting it if it's not right from that side. All that being said, market is just where it is. Dow Jones up to 159 points. S&P 500 is up to 36. Nasdaq's only up 77 today. Chip stocks are rebounding today and coming on the positive side of things, at least as of now. Nasdaq's up 64 points. The small cap index, Russell 2K, 39 points up for that. Then Bitcoin up today, 520 points. That can come and go. But Bitcoin has had sell-off here since we looked at it earlier today. 62,754 as of right now as well. Stocks we're paying attention to in this segment. First one is Salesforce out there. 2.69% down. Well, they were downgraded by KeyBank, that investment bank. They moved them to sector weight. It was at overweight before, Salesforce was. Well, KeyBank says that it's difficult to find evidence of future upside based on checks and consumer conversations, as well as disclosed numbers from the company. This is one of those companies that everybody thinks AI is going to put it out of business. Because what they do, AI can do. We saw earlier this week that another investment firm said those fears are unfounded. Well, here's KeyBank saying they're not unfounded. Salesforce down 2.67% here today. And then AI infrastructure company Cabreras Systems is the next stock we're going to look at here. And they're up 4.04% here today. They announced a major European expansion. Cerebras, if I said it wrong earlier, Cerebras brings its first European data center capacity online by the end of 2026. They plan to expand total capacity to 2,000 megawatts in 2027. They're going to do that by adding more data centers across the continent of Europe as well. So people, obviously investors like the sound of that. Cerebras Systems up 4.04%. And another note, I saw Meta's opening their first Canadian data center here. I believe it's this week or next week. They're coming out and opening that up as well up in Canada. But then there's Costco that we're going to look at. Yeah, you know them. Warehouse, Wholesale Club, down 3.91% right now, Costco is. They reported deceleration, comparable sales for June, which means their sales weren't as good in June, folks. Costco's comps rose 8.8% year over year in June. That's a great number, right? 8.8%. A lot of companies would kill for an 8.8% growth number. Well, in May, they had a 12.5% gain. So it's gone backwards. It's still positive. Nothing to worry about, in terms of that number, but it is negative from May. Market doesn't like that. 3.87% down for Costco right now as well out there. Now let's get into some local stories here and wrap up this week's versions of McCollum on Business. We have a Taco Bell story coming away where, you order with AI with them through your drive-thru. Seems to be going well. I'll give you an update on that. But the Arizona Corporation Commission did vote to repeal officially now its electric energy efficiency standards. They did all this yesterday. Well, this is a process that began in 2025 and it's now finalized. Regulators adopted those efficiency rules back in 2010. The rules directed utilities, the APS, Tucson Electric Power, basically what the Arizona Corporation Commission is over. Well, it directed them to reduce their cumulative energy use by 22% by 2020. So then the utilities were incentivized to help their customers purchase those energy efficient appliances, things, to lower your bills. That's why you get all those notices and emails all the time, like I do from SRP. Regulators began the process to repeal this standard last fall. Now, the reasons why they're doing that, well, it's because APS and Tucson Electric, they surpassed the goal in 2024, and it was costing ratepayers money for the utilities to continue filing annual efficiency reports. So they're saying they're hitting the numbers, let's just get rid of it. So the question becomes, do they keep the programs going now that they're hitting the numbers? Or do they kind of take them out as well? Is kind of the question you have now moving forward. But speaking of regulators or of not being regulated, right? SRP is not part of the Corporation Commission, but SRP, Salt River Project, well, they say they're going to want to triple its wind power resources by the end of next year. Not that they want to, they say they're going to. SRP plans to buy 600 megawatts. When we talk in those terms, you never know what that means. Well, it's about 150 homes being powered is what that amount is. They're going to buy all the power from a new wind farm that's started here in New Mexico. Now, their SRP, their current wind portfolio is 288 megawatts. So they're adding some big megawatts here on the wind side of things. The SRP has agreed to purchase the power from Pattern Energy's Sunzia plant. It's going to be a purchase order for the next 20 years. This plant just came online in June in New Mexico. It's been touted as the largest renewable energy project in the United States history. Has a total output that nears Palo Verde here in Arizona, the Palo Verde nuclear plant. And the Palo Verde is one of the largest power stations in the whole United States. So that's how big that wind farm is there in New Mexico. SRP says it plans to double its total power capacity over the next 10 years, obviously facing unprecedented demand because of, you know, things being built here, data centers, other things being built as well. So, something to, lots of questions here in the utilities and how we're going to get more power. And SRP at least has this way and method of kind of going and figuring out how they're going to deal with it out there as well. And speaking of these utilities, right? APS, Arizona Public Service, they're working to convert part of the Cholla power plant in northeastern Arizona, which, by the way, is an out of service plant right now. It was a coal plant before, but they want to convert it to a natural gas facility. It's located up there in St. Joseph, Joseph City, up there in northern Arizona. I always call it St. Joseph, just the Missouri thing I got in me. It stopped burning coal in March of 2025 as all the coal plants started to be wind down, right, under the Biden administration. Now, APS plans to convert 2 units from coal to natural gas. Now, this project, it could add about 380 megawatts of energy. Again, about 61,000 Arizona homes is what that can power from that side. So APS having the ability to want to do this coming up as well. They say repurposing the existing site would be a cost-effective way to strengthen reliability as energy demands grow here in Arizona as well. Natural gas, it can provide power around the clock, respond quickly during peak demand, meaning you just flip a switch and it burns more natural gas to do energy and things as well. But then also, the natural gas plants can support solar, wind, battery storage facilities as well. So that's why they're wanting to convert it over to the APS or to the, excuse me, the natural gas side of things as well. And then Taco Bell, interesting story from them. Not necessarily a food story, it's more of what they're doing because I'm intrigued by the way Taco Bell's running their company right now. Now we know that if you've been to the drive-through of the last year or so, you're talking to an AI thing for your order and stuff to that effect. Taco Bell has found it successful. Other companies like McDonald's tried it and went away from it. Taco Bell's ramping up its voice AI use across another 900 drive-throughs coming up here as well. They're finding good success, not just good success because it's working and they don't have to hire somebody. They're getting increased sales from it. This is fascinating. Let's say you order a burrito. Well, the AI says, "Hey, what goes with the burrito?" And they suggest the items that go with the burrito for you. And if you see it and it suggests an item, you go, "Oh, I'll take that too." So sales have actually gone up on Taco Bell based off of this AI stuff out there as well. So they're doing this announcement with partnership with Omilia, who they've been dealing with. Omilia is a provider of voice AI platform that Taco Bell has deployed at already hundreds of drive-through locations since 2023. 890 restaurants across 38 states to date. They're adding another 900 now because of the success that they got out there. Amelia's platform, this is what Taco Bell said here, quote, Amelia's platform has proven itself at scale in select U.S. restaurants, and continuing this strategic partnership supports our long-term digital and tech strategies, right? It's not just that they sell low-end Mexican food. You can't even say cheap anymore if you've been to Taco Bell lately as well. So when you pull up to the speaker, it automates this process, right? It's capable of adapting to an individual location's menu, real time stocking levels. So if they're out of something, just takes it off the menu. And as with limited time offers, it can add those in as well that they're available. And so the auto ordering process is more consistent, but more efficient for customers as well out there. Drive-throughs are demanding things here for these companies. It's fast paced. So you get peppered with questions. People are in a hurry because they're trying to grab lunch while they're on to someplace else, and they've had real success with this AI out there, as well. And like I said, a lot of companies like McDonald's tried the AI and went away from it. Taco Bell's found a way, but also, like I said, their sales have increased just because it recommends things and people buy them as well. And interesting enough, um, road noise can cause problem with AI. Obviously, regional accents, right? Somebody pulls up with a strong accent and not prone to their region. AI can struggle with that a little bit. But then also, how does it handle order modifications? Right? Bean burrito, no onions. That's pretty simple. But I want a chalupa with this, not this, this, and not this, not this, and everything. Taco Bell's been able to kind of handle that and get through those problems and everything. They use noise filtering, real time menu adaptations as well to address the challenges. And not that they're perfect, but the announcement from Taco Bell shows their rate is pretty high on solving those problems and not having issues as well. So they actually say that it's on par with the traditional ordering methods, which is obviously human to human contact there as well. So the AI is pretty much replicated. It screws up as much as the humans do. Let's put it that way out there as well. Taco Bell's found that employee redemption, people aren't leaving Taco Bell as quickly. They're keeping their employees after this AI came out in those locations compared to non AI locations. AI is working at Taco Bell, folks. I find that story fascinating here. We're just going to go to that method now. Pretty soon we're just going to have robots in that kitchen making your dirt tasting lettuce taco. Lettuce in your taco. Remember when Taco Bell's food was good and cheap? Man, it was so good. Hey, folks, appreciate you joining me here on this Thursday edition. Don't forget, we'll be back on Monday here, 7 a.m. here from McCollum on Business. Come and join us then. We'll get you updated on the market. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Monday.